Planet Earth. It's a beautiful place, but we aren't necessarily doing our part to keep it that way. In fact, every year, over 99 tons of waste is illegally or improperly dumped worldwide. The top waste-producing regions in order are East Asia and Pacific, Europe and Central Asia, South Asia, North America, and Latin America and the Caribbean. One of the major impacts of improper waste disposal is water pollution. Globally, 5 countries are responsible for 90% of the waste in our waters. Of that 90%, only 5% of the waste in the water is visible on the surface. This means that 95% is submerged and not easily seen, making it a problem that is all too easy to ignore. Right now, 75 million pounds of waste lay on the seafloor. A lot of this waste is made up of plastic. Currently, only 1 in 5 plastic bottles used is recycled, and it takes 700 years for a plastic bottle to decompose underwater. 5 trillion plastic bags are used every year and take 1,000 years to decompose underwater. Marine life is affected by this as well. 44% of seabirds have ingested or been entangled in plastic. And 2/3 of the world's fish stock have ingested plastic. Human consumption of these microplastics can lead to cancer, immune disorders, and birth defects. One of the main contributors of global waste is the production and consumption of fashion and textiles. The fashion industry is now worth $480 billion. In fact, 20% of global wastewater is caused by the fashion industry. Right now, 70% of India's water supply is contaminated with toxic chemicals from textile production. This number continues to rise. It takes 2,000 chemicals to turn raw materials into finished fabrics. In addition to chemicals, the amount of water required to make everyday articles of clothing is astounding. Over 1,800 gallons of water are required to make just one pair of jeans. And how about a t-shirt? A simple t-shirt requires 700 gallons of water. This year alone, the fashion industry created 100 billion new pieces of clothing, despite the fact that 70% of the world already wears secondhand clothes. Most used textiles will end up in a landfill or be incinerated, while only 18% are reused or recycled. What this means is that every second, the equivalent of 1 garbage truck full of textiles is burned or sent to landfills. The most troubling part about textile waste is that nearly 100% of all textiles are recyclable. Improper waste disposal leads to disease, fires, and poor air, land, and water quality. To keep our future and the future of the Earth healthy, reduce the amount of new stuff you buy. To reduce waste, buy things that have less packaging. Reuse. Try to borrow or rent things you'll only need for a short amount of time, and reuse the things you already have. When you have things you no longer need, give them to others who can use them. Use reusable bags when you go shopping. Recycle. Remember to recycle whatever materials you can, like bottles, cans, and paper, so they can be collected and remade into new products. And whenever you can, buy recycled. Try to choose products made from recycled materials. Be sure to do your part. Dispose of materials appropriately and reuse and recycle as often as possible.